Authorities in the French city of Nice have refused to delete CCTV footage from last week's terrorist attack on Bastille Day. The request was filed by France's anti-terror police during its investigation into the tragedy, which left over 80 dead. The request has led to speculation in the French media that authorities are looking to hide evidence that the promenade in Nice was not properly guarded. Shortly after the massacre, the French Interior Minister had this to say about security in the area.
The national police were present, and very present, on the Promenade des Anglais.
However, he later retreated from those claims, admitting that only local police officers were present on that tragic night. We heard from a French MP who's been involved in the investigation into the deadly attack.
I have to admit that since the attacks on Charlie Hebdo in January 2015, the Bataclan theatre and now the tragedy in Nice, not a single person has been punished. No one has asked to revise the country's policy, no high-ranking official has been ousted from his post. It's as if the notion of responsibility no longer exists in this country. I would like to know how this Tunisian-Lebanese cell, which was very well organised, could have slipped under the intelligence radar, while the first results of an investigation prove that there's been an active exchange of data via SMS, phone and email. Wasn't there the slightest signal that our intelligence services could have intercepted? The question will be crucial when the authorities have to explain to our people the means the government has to fight terrorism.
Next, Polish lawmakers have adopted a resolution calling the massacres committed between 1943 and 1945 by Ukrainian nationalists against Polish people genocide. The document makes July the 11th a day of remembrance for the victims of the atrocity.
I was born in Wolin. It was Polish land passed down over generations. We had very warm relations with our Ukrainian neighbours. But in 1943, terrible events started to take place. One scary night, 182 people from our village were killed. 18 members of my family were among them. Not only were men killed, but also women, elderly people, children, and even newborn babies. How can it not have been genocide? When my mother ran away, they shot at her head, but luckily they only hit her ear. She fainted and dropped me into a snowdrift. They didn't notice me and went away. Today, I'm grateful to the Sejm for such an important decision. It was genocide. It can't be called anything else.
One of the Ukrainian nationalist leaders behind the massacre was Stepan Bandera. Believed to be a Nazi collaborator, Bandera carried out numerous attacks on Poles in the 1940s. But in 2015, Ukraine decided to recognise the actions of the nationalists back then as having fought for the country's sovereignty. Bandera has been proclaimed a hero indeed, with several streets in Ukraine named after him. So the decision of the Polish parliament prompted Ukraine's leader Petro Poroshenko to express his regret, but some Ukrainian MPs believe political and diplomatic efforts between the two countries will now be derailed over this. One Polish cosmonaut who lost many of his relatives in the 1940s, killed by Ukrainian nationalists, has called for Poland and Ukraine, though, to keep a positive relationship.
This decision shouldn't affect relations between Ukraine and Poland. We are not talking about Ukrainians, but nationalists, Bandera followers. It's not possible to pretend this gang were heroes. Ukrainians don't know the whole truth now. Those people were murderers, thugs, and it's good the Sejm has finally taken this wise decision.